Nicola, the Zoom is yours.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we present the situation of not native species in Italy and especially in the Alpine space of Italy. Italy is in geographically in a special position in Europe, and that's why it has many different climates, and this is one of the reasons why we have also potentially so many not native species. Sorry. Okay. For example, since a long time we had the Archaeophytes, so those species that they were coming before the America, the discovery of America. Most of them, they are very special for the Italian landscape, and also not surprisingly, several of them, they are related with the food, so they can be eaten, or the seed or something can be eaten. The situation was that, for example, this is the case of Chestnut. This is the natural area, the present natural area of Chestnut, but this is a totally artificially, is man-made, because it was spread by the Romans, perhaps even before Romans, but the Romans, they were spread in Europe, in Central Europe until England, as you can see. While the species, maybe Silvio know better than me, the species originally was coming from the Middle East or from the Near East. Yeah. Okay, there are other archetypes, and this is just some examples. But as you can see, many of them, they are related with the food, and that is not nothing news, because of course it was one of the most important need. Coming to the neophytes, according with an inventory of Italian not native flora made in 2008 by Celesti Grabov and et al., we have in Italy more than 1,000 species, vascular plant species not native. That means 13% of the whole Italian flora. Among them, more than 100 are trees, so not national, not native trees. And the relation is 1/3 is gymnosperm, and more than two thirds are angiosperms. Okay. Many of these species have been introduced for ornamental. Not all of them, but most of them, they were for ornamental. In fact, based on the Italian National Inventory, when we compare the list of the not native Italian flora and the National Inventory, only 34 species are in common. Among them, 15 are now naturalized, like, of course, Robinia and some other. 10 are considered casual, and 9 are, they have invasive behavior. This is a list of these not native Italian species. The green one are the conifers, and the other one are the broadleaves. Okay, focused on the invasive not native species, the most common were selected as a 9 species, but some of them, they are shrubs. So basically 5 of them are the most invasive species. They have invasive behavior. And that's maybe can be some surprise. For example, I had a discussion with Thomas about the invasiveness of Douglas fir. In Italy, Douglas fir has no such a behavior. And also other kind of pine. We have a radiata pine, we have a strobus pine, but they are not invasive. But of course, there is big difference among invasiveness. Robinia is absolutely the biggest one, and Robinia is not only invasive. In some places, it's cultivated as a coppice, especially in central and south Italy. But of course, most of it is invasive. Those are the invasive trees. In order, the most common is Robinia. Then we have Quercus rubra, then Prunus serotina, and then Ailanthus altissima perhaps is underestimate, but and then Acernegundo. Those are the numbers of plants based on the National Forest Inventory. Acernegundo is not indicated because there are very few. Okay, the total invasive, not native species, they can reach 2% in total. And out of it, the biggest part, as I told, is Robinia. So it's about the same here. If you calculate in volume, in basal area, and in number of stems, is roughly between 2.7 to 1.8. Where they are concentrated, this is a list of the million of cubic meter divided by Italian regions. And as you can see, the red arrow indicates the region of the Alpine space, belonging to the Alpine space. And so, especially Piedmont and the Lombardy, they are very rich in this invasive species. While, for example, in South Tyrol or Trentino is very low or moderate or very low. But also in the south of Italy, except in Emilia-Romagna, in Bologna region and in Florence region, all the other regions, they don't have big amount of invasive species. Okay, this is just to show where are the Italian region that we are speaking. So it comes from Liguria, that is very close to the sea. That's why we have so many ornamental, Mediterranean ornamental, that they cannot be in Val d'Aosta or even in Lombardy, that is too cold. There have been several publications because the awareness of exotic, not native species is quite present, and several regions of Italy, they have made some kind of study, some kind of publication related to the wall or to one of them. After me, there will be a good presentation about Piedmont, because I think Piedmont is one of the regions that is more, where the problem is more, perhaps more strong, and also the people are more prepared. I'm speaking now in North Italy. One of the long cultivated species is poplar, and especially the Euro-American hybrid is called Populus canadensis or Populus americana. It's an hybrid between Populus nigra and Populus deltoides, the American Populus deltoides. That's why it's considered not native. Actually, is a hybrid. We have a quite long tradition. I think perhaps one of the longest in Europe for the poplar cultivation since the end of the 19th century, at the beginning of the 20th century. That's it brings this kind of interest among the farmers, among the grower. It brings to the establishment of the Experimental Institute for Poplar, founded in close to Torino. Torino is Casale Monferrato, is not far from Torino, and it was founded in the 30s. In the 30s, dedicated to the. This is not a Mussolini, but is the brother of Mussolini that was a sponsor of this Experimental Institute, and it's still active actually. This institute is still active nowadays, and they make a lot of research about poplar breeding found new clones, new variety, because poplar is very easy to propagate by graft or even by rooting, and so they have to find more and more clone, because when you have a big cultivation in a wide surface, then the diseases are coming, because there is no variability, and the fungi especially, or viruses or bacteria, even insects, they are at the good restaurant. So they have to develop always new clones to overcome some pathological problem. This is some of the clones. You can see also the growth, the yield they made during the cultivation. Normally is between 20 years and 32 years. It depends by the soil, it depends by the clone. One of the most historical clone is that one called I 2014. Is one of the oldest, and still is one of it's still cultivated quite much, not only in Italy but also abroad. Also because as we were speaking before about the wood and the quality of the wood coming from the not native trees, the industries, they are used to this clone, and even though this clone is susceptible to several diseases, they prefer this kind of wood. This is a typical cultivation in Padana Valley, close to the rivers, close to the bed of the rivers, because of course they need waters. And but the cultivation during the last 10, 15, 20 years is decreasing, because the market is not very strong now. Okay, some numbers about all the other cultivation, plantation of conifer. This is as you can see, is very poor. I select the yellow regions. The yellow are the region belong to the Alpine Space. The other region, they are in central and south Italy. As you can see, Pseudotsuga menzies is practically zero. Pinus radiata as well. Only in Piedmont there is this Pinus strobus, but few hundred hectares. Planted in the 90s, when there was a strong policy for succeed the plantation for the policy called set aside. But this is these are data from the National Forest Inventory. Of course, if you go in the parks, if you go in the garden, in the cities, then you can find maybe these trees, these species. Those are the data about Robinia and Ailanthus. They put together, I don't know why, but anyway, Robinia is much, much bigger than Ailanthus. Even even though they put together. And you can see in Piedmont is quite strong, the situation. Then we have a poplar, as you can see. Piedmont and Lombardy are and also Friuli. Friuli is the region close to Slovenia, the northeast. And then in the middle you can see Pinete, means pine plantation of black pine, Laricio and Loricato. Laricio is also a black pine, is called Pinus nigra, but is another variety. Is a subspecies growing in Calabria, growing in south anyway, southern Rome, and also some parts in the middle of Italy, in Abruzzo. There is another variety of black pine. But these hectares cultivated in North Italy, they are mainly plantation, and they are considered, even though I remember we had some kind of discussion with Alexander, because of course in Slovenia is a native. In Slovenia, the black Austrian pine, or what else you want to call, Pinus nigra, Varietà nigra, is native, but in many other parts of Alpine Space is planted, and I will show a map later. So this is the
Nicola, sorry, can you go to conclusions? I give you
okay.
2 minutes more.
This is the different kind of 15 different subspecies of black pine, and this is the situation with the nativity and with the plantation. The blue points are plantations. So that's why I would suggest to consider these pines as not native. Okay, the geographic position makes Italy potentially affected by the presence of not native trees. And this is possible to see by the variety of Archaeophytes we have that are very characteristic of Italian landscape. But the majority, they were introduced as ornamental, even though we have more than 100 not native species. Mainly, I didn't spoke, but mainly we have Douglas fir in Tuscany, Pinus radiata in Sardinia, Eucalyptus in Sicily, Sardinia, but I didn't put attention because it's outside the Alpine Space. And in the end, Populus per Canadiensis is one of the most cultivated since almost 100 years, or even longer. And Pinus nigra, at this moment, is considered one problem, and there are different opinions. That's why I would like to use this as a test also to speak about not native species. I have finished.